Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavate uttama sloke bhakti bhavati neshtike Om agyana timirandasya gyananjana shalakaya chakshur unmilitam yena tasmai shri guruve namaha Sri Caitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sarvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirviseshasha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpa tarubhyasya kripa sindhu evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda Shri Aditya Gadadhara Srivasadi
Gaur
Gaur Varande
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Rama.
Ram Hare Hare.
We are continuing our reading of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 3, Chapter 4, Text 30. Where Sukadev Goswami is speaking to Maharaj Parikshit how Vidur is going to approach Maitreya Muni. Asmal lokad uparate mai jnanam mad ashrayam arhati uddhava evadha samprati atma vatam varaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Now I shall leave the vision of this mundane world, and I see that Uddhav, the foremost of my devotees, is the only one who can be directly entrusted with knowledge about me. So, 26 to 29, and we are on. Yeah. Jnana Mad Ashrayam is significant in this verse. Transcendental knowledge has three departmental divisions, namely knowledge of impersonal Brahman, knowledge of the all-pervading Supersoul, and knowledge of the personality of Godhead. So we know that God can be realized in three features as the light which is coming from His body, which is called the impersonal Brahman or the Brahma Jyoti. And then He's also realized as the Paramatma, the Supersoul, who is in every atom of the universe, who is in the heart of every living entity. And He is also the highest realization of God is the person. That God is a person. And He has qualities, He has pastimes, He has a very beautiful form. Out of the three, transcendental knowledge of the personality of Godhead has special significance and is known as Bhagavad Tattva Vijnana, specific knowledge of the personality of Godhead. So, understanding of Krishna, the person, is the highest, is the topmost. And it is known as Bhagavad Tattva Vijnana. Vijnana means knowledge which can be applied. It's not only gyan that you get knowledge, but vigyan, which can be applied, like science. This specific knowledge is realized by pure devotional service and no other means. Bhagavad Gita 18.55 confirms this. Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha. Only persons engaged in devotional service can factually know the transcendental position of the Lord. So if we want to know God, if we want to understand Him, we need to engage in devotional service. And devotional service begins with hearing and chanting. By hearing about Krishna from Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, by chanting His holy name, the Hare Krishna mantra. And in that way, we can know factually, as a fact, not as a speculation. I think, maybe, I don't know. No, but factually. Uddhav was considered to be the best amongst all devotees of that time, and therefore he was directly instructed by the Lord's grace so that people might take advantage of Uddhav's knowledge after the disappearance of the Lord from the vision of the world. This is one of the reasons why Uddhav was advised to go to Badrikashram, where the Lord is personally present, represented by the Nar Narayana deity. One who is transcendently advanced can gain direct inspiration from the temple deity, and thus a devotee of the Lord always takes shelter of a recognized temple of the Lord in order to make tangible advancement in transcendental knowledge by the grace of the Lord. So Krishna had asked Uddhav to go to Badrikashram and over there take shelter of Nar Narayan, the Lord Nar Narayan, and to give this knowledge to all the sages, to the great personalities who are residing there in Badrikashram. And here Prabhupada is saying that if one is very pure devotee, then he can have a direct reciprocation with the deity and can get direct instructions from the deity. And the other day the question was raised, is Badrikashram same as Badrinath? Yes, it is. It is the same. So we go to the text 31. Were there any questions or comments on the verse that we just read?
No, I think that we were not on 3.4.30. We were in the middle of 3.4.29.
Oh, in the middle.
Finished that yesterday. I mean, that's what.
Yes. That's right. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we didn't finish 29. That's right.
Yeah, right.
That's right. Thank you. So, Krishna Sandarbha. Now, reading from 29, according to Brahma Samhita, the Lord has many forms. It is stated herein that the Lord has innumerable forms, and when he appears within the vision of the living entities, as Lord Krishna actually appeared, all such forms amalgamate with him. So Krishna has many forms. Unlimited is said that as many waves there are in the ocean, you see the waves just keep coming and going. No? There's so many waves. Like that, Krishna has so many innumerable incarnations he takes. And then when Swayam Bhagwan, Sri Krishna, comes once in a day of Brahma, all these forms come together with him. They are with him because he's the original. He's the origin of all those forms. So they all come together with him in his person. Besides all these infallible forms, he has his universal form as manifested before Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Here in this verse, the word Sphitam is also used, which indicates that he left his gigantic universal form called the Virat Rupa, not his primeval eternal form, because there is hardly any possibility of his changing his form of Sachid Ananda. This simple understanding is at once realized by the devotees of the Lord, but those who are non-devotees, who perform hardly any devotional service to the Lord, either do not understand this simple fact or purposely raise a controversy to defeat the eternity of the transcendental body of the Lord. This is due to the defect called the cheating propensity of the imperfect living entities. So in this verse, Sukadev Goswami was saying that Krishna had wanted to leave this universe. And then Prabhupada is explaining, so in the Brahma Samhita, we just said that Krishna has many forms and all those forms come together with Krishna. Now, all those are Sachidananda forms. Beside this, Krishna also has the Virat Roop, in which represents this full universe, which Arjuna saw before on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Arjuna saw, then Krishna had also shown one of his Virat Roop to Duryodhana. So at various times, he shows this Virat Roop. That is a material form, that is a temporary form, to show that everything in the universe exists within the body of the Lord. And also for the people who are not able to understand that Krishna has a spiritual form. So when people begin to inquire, oh really, there is a God who is in charge of the universe. And so, oh, the lower planets are his ankles, or the soles of his feet, or the clouds are his hair, or the rivers are his veins, you know. So like that, to have a conception, an idea of God, and that everything in this material world belongs to God. So when Krishna left this universe, what he left behind was this universal form of his. So Prabhupada is explaining that the devotees are easily able to understand this because they are engaged in devotional service, but the non-devotees who are not engaged in devotional service and who want to always negate the eternal existence of the Lord, who always want to say that Krishna's form is not eternal, who want to kill Krishna, they always try to bring up a controversy of this subject, that Krishna's body is material, whereas Krishna's body is transcendental, not material. Is that okay?
Yes.
By practical experience also, it is seen up to the present day that the Lord's transcendental form is worshipped by his devotees in different temples, and all the devotees of the Lord factually realize that the form of the deity in the temple is non-different from the form of the Lord. This inconceivable performance of the internal potency of the Lord is described in Bhagavad Gita 7.25, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yoga Maya Samavritaha. The Lord reserves the right of not being exposed to everyone. So we can see that the devotees who are personally taking care of the deities, they have so many pastimes to narrate of the deities, especially the two transcendental brothers, Jananivas Prabhu and Pankajangari Prabhu. They would keep having so many pastimes to narrate about Lord Nishingadev, about the Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra Maharani deities. You know, so the devotees who are personally taking care of the deities, they have many pastimes to describe. And so they can see that the Lord is there. Now, everyone can't see it. That's what Krishna says, that he reveals himself according to our surrender. In the Padma Puran, it is said, Ata Sri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grayam indriye. The name and form of the Lord cannot be perceived by the material senses. But when he appears within the vision of the mundane people, he assumes the form of the Virat Roop. This is an additional material exhibition of form and is supported by the logic of a subject and its adjectives. In grammar, When an adjective is taken away from the subject it modifies does not change. Similarly, when the Lord quits his Virat Roop, his eternal form does not change, although there is no material difference between himself and any one of his innumerable forms. In the 5th canto, it will be seen how the Lord is worshipped in different planets, in his different forms, even now, and how he is worshipped in different temples of this earth also. So Krishna has so many different forms. Kurma, Matsya, Varahadev, Lord Nishinga, Lord Ramachandra, Sri Krishna himself as Shyam Sundar. And there are so many different temples that are worshipping these various forms of the Lord. But the Lord is still the same. Even though he's appearing in so many forms, he's still Krishna, Swayam Bhagavan. That is just the form he has exhibited so that the devotees of that particular mood can reciprocate with him. Similarly, he leaves behind, what he leaves behind is his Virat Roop, that is his material temporary form that he leaves behind just to confuse the atheistic, the people who don't want to know him. Because the people who want to know him, they engage in devotional service. And for them, it's very easy to understand, yes, all the forms belong to Krishna. His original form is Satchidananda, and he's the Supreme Lord. So he can do anything he likes. He wants to appear as Virat Roop, okay, he appears. He wants to appear as Matsya, he appears. He wants to appear as Kurma, he appears. He's supremely independent. We cannot say, no, Krishna, you cannot appear in this form. He's like, why I can't? I'm God, no? And then he appears, why? To have different pastimes with his different devotees in different circumstances. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Srila Jiva Goswami and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur have very elaborately explained this incident of the Lord's disappearance in their commentaries, quoting various authentic versions of Vedic literatures. We purposely do not include them all here to avoid an increase in the volume of this book. The entire matter is explained in Bhagavad Gita as quoted above. The Lord reserves the right of not being exposed to everyone. So our two great acharyas, Srila Jiva Goswami and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, they have written the commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam, and they have spoken about this, the Lord leaving this universe and the way he leaves it, and they have quoted from the different shastras. You see, when the acharyas, they write, they don't just make up anything. They don't imagine something. They also always refer to the scriptures, what has been said by the pure devotees. So there is no personal agenda in that. There is nothing that, according to me. No, this is the way. This is what, according to Krishna. This is according to the authorities. And then again, the thing is stressed that Krishna reserves the right of not being exposed to everyone. We are also like that. We also don't reveal our innermost secrets to everyone. No, we deal with people on a very different ways. If somebody is just an acquaintance, we'll be just on hi-hello basis. If somebody is a better friend, we will speak with them a little more. If somebody is a really, really dear friend, then we share our own heart's innermost secrets with them, isn't it? So Krishna is the supreme person. And then he does the same. He always keeps himself out of the vision of the non-devotees who are devoid of love and devotion, and thus he puts them still further away from the Lord. The Lord appeared on the invitation of Brahma, who prayed before the Shirodakashai Vishnu, and therefore, when the Lord appeared, all the forms of Vishnu amalgamated with him, and when the mission was fulfilled, all of them disintegrated from him in the usual course. So Lord Brahma, when Bhumi Devi, she approached Lord Brahma, oh, I am so much in aggrievement, please help me. Lord Brahma, where does he take her? He takes her to Shvetadvip, where Shiradakshay Vishnu is there. He's the one who is always in charge of protection and maintenance of each universe. So Brahmaji approached the Shiradakshay Vishnu, and so it was decided that it was time for Krishna himself to come, and so Krishna himself came. And whenever Krishna himself comes, all his various incarnations, they come within his body, because he's the origin of all incarnations. So they all amalgamate in him. They all come together with him. And when Krishna leaves, when Krishna's mission is fulfilled, then each of the incarnations, they go to their respective pastimes. Is that okay?
So when when the incarnations come, they come in that same form, or they come in different, again, when they come with Krishna?
So for example, Varahadev, Kurmadev, Nishingadev, they all are inside Krishna's body, Shyam Sundar's body. Yeah. Brajendra Nandan Krishna's body. Yeah. So, yeah, thank you, Neha, for reminding that we were on 29. That was an important, very important verse. And so we'll go on to 31. No davo anva api manunyo yad kone nardita prabhuhu ato mad vayunam lokam grayan ihatisthatu. Uddhav is not inferior to me in any way, because he is never affected by the modes of material nature. Therefore, he may remain in this world in order to disseminate specific knowledge of the personality of Godhead. So, the specific qualification for becoming the representative of the Lord is to be unaffected by the material modes of nature. Each of us is conditioned under the modes of nature. When we have specific desires, then those desires, Krishna fulfills those desires by the facility of this material energy based on what the modes of nature we are in goodness, passion, or ignorance. But a pure devotee of the Lord is not within these modes of nature. That's why he's called liberated. He's called transcendental. Means he's transcended the modes. He's beyond the modes. The modes cannot affect him. The goodness, passion, and ignorance do not affect a pure devotee. His consciousness is only, how may I please Krishna? The highest qualification of a person in the material world is to be a Brahmana. But since a Brahmana is in the mode of goodness, to be a Brahmana is not sufficient for becoming a representative of the Lord. So like in the Varna Sharma system, we see there are 4 divisions of society traditionally in Vedic society, where the Brahmanas were the head of the society, the leaders of the society. They were the most qualified in the society because why? Because they were not looking at their own benefit. They were looking at the benefit of everyone, and they would guide the kings, the administrators, so that for the benefit of everyone. And but just becoming a Brahmana is not enough to become a representative of the Lord. One has to transcend the mode of goodness also and be situated in unalloyed goodness, unaffected by any of the qualities of material nature. This stage of transcendental qualification is called Shuddha Sattva or Vasudev, and in this stage, the science of God can be realized. So as we progress from ignorance to passion to goodness, and when we engage in devotional service, then we can transcend this goodness also. And we can be situated in the pure goodness, mode of pure goodness, which is not of this material world. And at that time, we can fully understand the position of God, the science of God. As the Lord is not affected by the modes of material nature, so a pure devotee of the Lord is also not affected by the modes of nature. It's not an easy position to reach in. It's a very difficult position to reach in, but the pure devotees are situated in that position. That they're not, that's why they say that they are in the world, but they're not of this world. Why? Because they're not affected. Their desires, their mind is not affected by these modes. Their only desire is, how can I please Krishna? Their only action is for the pleasure of Krishna. So that is the primary qualification for being one with the Lord. What does it mean, one with the Lord? Not that one enters the body of the Lord or becomes the Lord. No, but one in vision. What is gonna please Krishna? That means one with the Lord. If you'll have heard some speeches, you know, the CEO of the company will tell his teammates, are you all one with me? Do you all understand what's the goal, the mission? Are you all one with me? Then it doesn't mean that all his team members are going to enter his body and not exist anymore. No, but that they understand what's the CEO's vision and goal, and they're going to work in that direction, in the same direction as the CEO wants to take the company. So same, working in the same vision as the Lord. A person who is able to attain this transcendental qualification is called Jivan Mukta, or liberated, even though he is apparently in material conditions. This liberation is achieved by one who constantly engages in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So Jivan Mukta. Jivan Mukta is this pure devotee of the Lord who is living in this material world, but he is not entangled by the modes of nature. He's not bound by the modes of nature. His every action is full of love for Krishna. How can I please Krishna? So in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.187 it is stated, Iha yasya hare dasye karmana manasa gira nikhilasva api avasthasu jivan mukta sa uchyate. Anyone who by his actions, minds and words lives only for the transcendental loving service of the Lord is certainly a liberated soul, even though he may appear to be in a condition of material existence. So why is he called a Jivan Mukta? Because here in the material world, why we are all here? Because we want to please our own self. We want to forget Krishna and we want to please our own self. Now the pure devotee of the Lord, even though he is in this material world, he does not have this desire that I want to please my own self. His only desire is, how can I please Krishna? And that is the desire of all the liberated people, all the liberated living entities who are living in the various Vaikuntha planets, who are living in the spiritual world. So such a pure devotee, even though he is living in the material world, because his consciousness is totally spiritual, he is called liberated, even though he is in the material world. Uddhav was in such a transcendental position, and thus he was selected to be the factual representative of the Lord in his bodily absence from the vision of the world. Such a devotee of the Lord is never affected by material strength, intelligence, or even renunciation. Such a devotee of the Lord can withstand all onslaughts of material nature, and therefore he is known as Goswami. Only such Goswamis can penetrate the mysteries of the Lord's transcendental loving relationships. So being a representative of the Lord means Krishna has authorized this person that, okay, you represent me. You can tell people about me, tell them about my teachings, tell them what is my desire, tell them who am I, my qualities, my pastimes. And so Krishna entrusted he empowered Uddhav. He selected Uddhav to represent him. And and the representative of Krishna, because he's a pure devotee, all this material, whatever is happening, all the material happenings do not affect him at all. His consciousness is just fixed as the lotus feet of Krishna. He has that deep relationship with Krishna already. So the material nature, which keeps changing, does not affect him. And that's why he's called a Goswami, master of his mind and senses. And master of the mind and senses is called Goswami. And Prabhupada is saying only such Goswamis can penetrate the mysteries of the Lord's transcendental loving relationships. Is that okay?
Are they trying to tell that why Uddhavji was given this responsibility and importance of the devotee, right? That how great a devotee he was.
Yes. How great a devotee Uddhav was, and how great all the pure devotees of the Lord are.
Okay.
And also, if we want to understand Krishna, we cannot understand Krishna directly. We cannot approach Radha and Krishna directly. We do not have that, we do not have that understanding. We can't approach them directly. We can approach them only through Lord Chaitanya. And in order to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, we need to have the mercy of Lord Nityananda. In order to have the mercy of Lord Nityananda, we need to have the mercy of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. Goswamis. And in order to get the mercy of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, we need to have the mercy of our Guru, of the bona fide Guru coming in disciplic succession. Because then, by his mercy, we can get Srila Prabhupada's mercy. So it's like a chain. It's a chain. It's not anybody can just directly approach Krishna. If we want to know if I want to go meet the president, he's not going to even, if I try to send him a message or a call or something, he won't even receive it. He won't receive it. But if I know someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone who can deliver the letter, then I know it will reach to the president's hand and my message will be delivered to him. So
the earlier verse was spoken by Lord Krishna.
I'm sorry?
The earlier verse, it was spoken by Krishna.
So Sukadev Goswami is saying that, yeah, Krishna is
me,
saying these things.
yeah, right?
Yes.
Inferior to me.
Yes. 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 That's right. So we'll stop here for today.
Yeah.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Krishna.